On today's Fixing Bugs and Stuff, we're going to talk about putting a backup cable for this latch. Okay, as you guys know, for those who own many bugs, it's happened to me quite a bit that the cable here, inside of here, will break, and you go to put gas in the car, you don't realize it, you go pull on the cable, and next thing you know, there's no way to get the hood open. To get to right now my fuel tank is not in here, but usually the gas cap is on this side, and you're out of luck. You're at a gas station and then this thing won't open, so then you have to basically tear apart the handle here, and that's a mess in itself. You end up damaging the body. So anytime I have a Volkswagen, I haven't done it on this one, and I should have, I put in a backup cable to pull this in here, and I'll show you that here in a minute. Now, some of the cables that release this latch are in the glove compartment, and I'm not sure what year they started that, but a lot of times the glove compartment, those cables are kind of thinner than this one, and sometimes the glove compartment cable will break away from the glove compartment because it's attached to it, but you can still pull it. But if it falls into the trunk here, then you're out of luck. And the latches on the newer models, I think it's 68 and up. I'm not sure. You guys can tell me. I think they are riveted in, and it's a totally different latch. Anyway, I've seen people in the past take like this cover off here and take a long, like a socket with a long extension and try to get in here that way. But the problem is usually this cap is on here and it's screwed in from this side. So you would have to bang on this cap, and hopefully you break the screws that are here, and then maybe you can get in here and be able to unscrew these nuts. No, just kidding. So these nuts will come off if you can get a socket and an extension through here. However, if the bolt starts to spin and you try to take these nuts off, there's no way you're gonna get this latch out. So I'm going to add a backup cable for this latch. So we're gonna take this apart and I'll show you what you need. Okay, there's a total of 3 fasteners here, or 3 bolts and nuts that are in here. So I'm gonna take them out. And it's a 10mm socket that you'll take out. And it's just the bolt, of course, as you see on this side. And it's a washer, like a wavy washer, which kind of locks in place, locks the nut in place. There's 3 sets of those. But see, it's just a cover. And then we take that off. I'll show you on the other side. You turn this way, you can actually see the mechanism here. This gets pulled and it pushes that way, and it releases that nose. And I'll show you the nose, call it a nose, but it releases this little pointy nose right there. This is spring loaded, so when it's latched in, it springs up this way, springs in, and then it catches in here. And then when you release the cable, it opens up that hole I showed you earlier. Opens this up, because it catches it right in there. Opens that up, and then it pops the hood up because of that spring there. Hope I don't confuse you, because sometimes I don't explain things very well. But please hit me up with comments or questions. Let me know what you think. I would appreciate it. But anyway, we're gonna add an additional cable. Now, if you see this screw here, The screw is meant to adjust this cable, and this cable is kind of thick. Let me find out what thickness is this cable. Hold on one second. Okay, the cable's about 1.3 millimeters thick, so it's not too big, but my plan is to add an additional cable. So just in case this one breaks. This one seems like it's okay. I mean, it has a little bit of rust on it, but you know how these cables can be. After use for a while, they will snap. This one's probably 50 years old anyway. So let's say if you're gonna replace this cable, you would mount this in, put in the new cable, and then pull it through here, and then you would loop it, put it around like you see here on the bottom, loop it, and then tighten up your screw, and then test it out and see. I would definitely don't shut the hood at this point. I would take off, keep calling this thing the nose. I would take that off there, because it does have a nut here. Take this whole complete piece and then stick it inside of here. And then once you tighten up this screw for your cable, test it out. Go inside the car and pull on the cable and see if that nose, we talk about this, I don't know why I'm calling it a nose, will pop off. That's the best way to test it. Anyway, we're gonna add the cable here. Now, there's several ways you can do it. You can add another screw here and then wrap the new cable that you're gonna add. You can try to wrap around this screw and pull on it that way. There's many ways you can do it, and I'll show you what I'm gonna do here. Okay, so I have this cable here. It's basically a choke cable for any kind of car that requires a manual choke. And I forgot where I got this from. I think I got it from Amazon. It was like $9, $10. And you can see it here that you can make a hole, and then you can tighten up this nut up against like a firewall or your dash, and then you pull this for your choke. So we're gonna use this, we're gonna modify this. So I'm going to modify it, and I'll tell you step by step what I'll be doing. So this will be perfect for this application. And besides, this thing is 1.5 millimeters thick, so it's thicker than the current cable that's here. So this will be fine. I mean, I'm sure you can get these in stainless steel too if you're worried about it rusting, but it'll have to take a lot to do that. So on to the modification. Okay, so I removed this cable from its sleeve here. It had like a long sleeve attachment that went in here. It was just too long, too cumbersome, too bulky. So I cut this down and threaded it, put this knob on here. No big deal. So now I can use this sleeve as a protectant when it's in here, similar to this. Anyway, the next step will be to route this. And by the way, you can do this with the fender on. I'm gonna show you with the fender off. Since I only got maybe like 3 screws in the fender, I'm gonna take the fender off. It'll be a lot easier to show you. And then I'm gonna make a small hole. The hole's gonna be maybe a little larger than this here. It doesn't have to be too big. I'm trying to avoid any type of water coming in this area. Okay, I'm about to drill a hole. Where I'm gonna drill a hole, if this is where your electrical goes for your headlight, and there's a boot that goes in here. So there's like a kind of like a flat area here. And I'm just gonna pick a spot, I would say before the flat area ends to sort of like a point. It's coming down like about 1 inch. That's where I'm gonna drill. I like to use this spot because it's at an angle and it's kind of perfect for you to pull. So I'm using a small drill bit. I think it's like 2 millimeters in diameter. So it's a little bigger than my 1.5 millimeter cable, but it's fine. Again, this is for emergencies. If you're gonna make a hole here, it'll be very tiny, and definitely add seam sealer, silicone, whatever, at this point. You're not going to be using this cable all the time. It's just as a backup. So now my cable can go through there, and I'll show you what it looks like. You see it there? It's coming through. It's plenty big. Now, you want to make sure that you make this surface, or the hole that you just made, you want to make sure that it's clear of burrs. You kind of want to smooth it out because you can actually cut this cable by that if it's sharp. Next thing I'm gonna do is gonna route this sleeve here, and it's gonna stick right in front of this hole, and then it's gonna follow this cable, the current cable, this current cable here. It's gonna follow it all the way through. So let me back up and show you. It's gonna go through here, and it's gonna go into that hole there, but it's gonna follow this cable. It's like a little flange right here. So I'm going to stop there. I'm going to mark it. That's where I need to cut. Okay, right now I'm using tie wraps to hold this in place because this thing's pretty wiggly. It's wiggly. At this point, we're gonna run cable through that flex sleeve. Take the flex sleeve, we're gonna slide the cable through. This is pretty stout, so you can just slide it on through. And if it gives you trouble, just pull it back out and then slide it through again. I'm going to take the cover. I'm going to install it. Goes in just like that. Kind of, once you tighten this up, the cover stays on. So, anyway, you're going to take that same drill bit you had earlier, this small guy, and we're going to drill in here to add the cable. That's through. You want to see the cable go in it. Cable go in, just like that. No issues. And this will sit on the outside. All right, so let me show you what's going on over here. See this here? That is where your knob's gonna be. Now your housing, your light housing, sits right about here. So it kind of hides this away. And if you're wondering if the tire is gonna hit that, let's try and turn the tire and see what happens. That's the limit of the tires. Yeah, this is not gonna hit it. Got space in here. I'll be more concerned if it was lower, if it was down here, then yeah, maybe, you know, this thing moving up and down, but we're clear on here. And you just pull this as needed. Okay, so I added another nut. I added another screw here it's because it's threaded all the way through here. So I added another screw. It's about 4mm screw. I'm not sure what the thread size is, but I put a little bit of Loctite. It's the blue Loctite, so I can definitely get this out. This is gonna do two things. This is definitely gonna, this screw clamps down onto the wire, and this will double clamp it onto the wire. But I'm gonna use the screws so I can wrap my new wire around this. So essentially what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do like a little loop. I need to cut this wire down, probably cut it to here, and then loop it around this. Wire's cut. We're gonna route it through the new hole that we made earlier. see the new wire here? See, it's in there pretty good. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use the screw to bend this. So you see it's bending. And you can do a hook. Hook will work. This thing's pretty stout. It's pretty rigid. But I'm gonna do a loop. See right there. I'm gonna continue it on. Just try not to get it on the spring. And there you go. It's looped around once. Shouldn't come out. Again, this is pretty strong. Pretty strong. So now at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to mount everything back up to where it's supposed to be. And we can test out everything. The existing stock cable here. And we'll test this out as well. So let's clean her up. Okay, I cleaned it up. I greased it a little bit. Didn't put too much grease in there. Right now I just used like a white lithium grease. I'm gonna use a different type of grease, but just to keep it loose. And so that's basically it. I decided to leave the cable to see a little loose for now until I'm ready to tie it up. But it still works great. So I'll just give you an example. Let me pull this light out. I'm gonna shut the hood. Right there, it's not shut until you push it in. Now it's locked into place. Can't move it. And we're gonna use the emergency cable on the side. We'll pull that. I don't know if you saw the hood move at all, but it did pop up a little bit. And now, comes right out. As you pull the main latch, the backup wire here comes out. It just should. It's a very strong, stout cable. But you'll see it. Pull it from the inside. This will come out like it should. So now I'm gonna put the fender back on so I can take a picture or give you guys an idea or a look of how this is sitting in here. Definitely want to put silicone in here. Keep mentioning that. So let me put the fender on, then I give you guys a better look. Oh, there it is. That's where it sits. And it's like right behind here. It's just not really in the way of anything. So if we're at a gas station, you get stuck and your cable breaks, all you gotta do is turn the wheel to the right. I'm sorry, the wheel to the left. Gives you enough clearance. And you just have to just pull this guy like I showed you earlier. So it shouldn't be any issues. You got plenty of space in here. Definitely you can pull. Just like that. So that's basically it. Again, I apologize if I didn't explain this thoroughly. This is one way you can do it. I've seen it done many other ways. But be sure that you get a cable that's strong enough, because the spring in this is very strong. I don't know how many pounds it takes to pull, and I don't know how much pounds that this cable can take. I know it's thicker than the current cable or the stock cable that's in there, so it should be good. But make sure you get a good size cable. Again, it gives you a way out. I've had too many times where the cable has snapped. Now I can't fill up my car, and then I gotta mess with this handle and all that jazz. So I'll clean up that cable, put it off to the side, but hopefully this helps you out. You don't have to do it this way. You can do it any way you want. Hopefully this is helpful. Please like, subscribe, and comment. And thank you for watching.